Why would Adidas, one of the biggest sports brands on the planet, lose out on signing arguably the most marketable footballer in the game right now? I mean, seriously, we're talking about Erling freakin Haaland. The guy's a legend. He's wrecking Premier League records, dropping goals like it's nothing, and somehow, he's got every brand chasing him for a boot deal. Nike had him first, right? Since he was 14, then boom, the contract ends. And what does Haaland do? He pulls the boldest move ever. He shows up wearing Adidas one week, Puma the next, Nike after that. Like he's flexing, just to see who bites harder. But still, even with all that, Adidas couldn't close the deal. So the big question is, why did Haaland reject Adidas? That's what we're going to talk about today. The strategy behind Haaland's move, how he played the game off the pitch, and why Adidas just couldn't seal the deal. So after being locked in with Nike since he was, like 14, that deal finally ran out in 2022. And from that point on, Haaland basically went rogue. No contract, no exclusivity, just full-on boot freedom. One week he's lacing up Adidas, then it's Puma, and Nike again. It was wild. The man was literally rotating brands mid-week like he was testing samples. And not quietly either. We're talking high-profile matches, press photos, even walking into stadiums with one brand on his feet and another in the game. There's this one moment that pretty much sums it up. Before City's opener against West Ham, Haaland pulls up wearing Adidas trainers. Then later that day, steps onto the pitch in Nike Mercurials. Like, come on, that's not accidental, that's a bold move. And when people started pointing it out, Haaland shrugged it off. Said, normally it's not allowed to wear Adidas and Nike together. So, that's a little bit why I did it. That's Haaland. It sounds playful, maybe even a little trolly. But if you're paying attention, there's probably more to it. I mean, this wasn't just about shoes. It felt like a chess move. Trying everything out, keeping people guessing, stirring hype, all while brands are lining up to throw millions at him. Dude was just sitting back, wearing what he felt like, while the offers kept getting bigger. And honestly, it worked. Now at first glance, it kinda looked like Haaland was just messing around, right? One day in Adidas, next to Nike, sometimes even Puma. Felt random, like whatever boots were lying around he wore them. But nah, this wasn't random, not even close. That whole mix and match phase, it all was part of the play. See, after his Nike deal expired, there's the thing called a 6-month matching rights period. Basically during that window, his old sponsor, in this case Nike, had the right to match any formal offer from another brand. So even if Adidas came in with a bag, Nike could just say, cool, we'll match that, and keep him. So what did Haaland do? He waited. Smart. Instead of rushing into a new deal, he let the clock run out. Didn't sign anything, just chilled. Rocked whatever boots he felt like, and let the speculation build. That way, once the 6 months were up, he was completely free. No restrictions, no brand had leverage. He could choose whoever he wanted, on his own terms. And the whole time he kept the media buzzing. Fans arguing, brands sweating. It was like a public bidding war, but without him saying a single word. Gotta give him credit where credit's due. His dad, his reps, whoever's in that room, they played this thing tight. Silent moves, big impact. Because while everyone else was guessing what boots he'd wear next, Haaland was just raising his value, quietly, patiently, letting the hype do all the heavy lifting. And that right there is how you flip the game. Now here's the part that really makes you scratch your head. Adidas went all in for Haaland. Like on paper, they were in the perfect spot to lock him down. First off, their CEO, Bjorn Gulden, is literally a close family friend. That's not some PR fluff either. They've got history. So you'd think, yeah, family ties, that's gonna seal it, right? And then there's the fact that Haaland had already been seen wearing Adidas boots, just casually, during matches, during tours, even in warm-ups. The guy looked comfortable in them, no drama, no issue. And on top of that, Adidas has a Messi problem. Let's be real, Messi's not gonna be around forever. They needed a new face, a new icon to carry the torch once he steps back. And Haaland, he checks all the boxes. Young, marketable, scoring monster, global following, it all lined up. So yeah, they had the angle, the connection, and the need. But even with all that, Haaland still walked away. No deal, no signature. Just thanks, but nah. It's kind of wild, because if Adidas couldn't get it done with that setup, you gotta ask, what did Nike have that pulled them back? But we'll get to that. Alright, let's be real. Every brand came with a fat check. Nike, Adidas, Puma, all of them. This wasn't a case of one brand offering more money than the others. The cash was there, guaranteed. But Haaland's camp made one thing super clear. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the fit, the feel, the vibe. He didn't want to just slap on some flashy boots and smile for the cameras. He wanted something that felt right, both on his feet and, I guess, in his head too. Because yeah, when you're banging in goals every week, the last thing you want is to be dealing with blisters on your weird insoles or stiff uppers that don't break in. That stuff messes with performance, straight up. There's actually a quote that hits this perfectly. Michel Rinchucio, sports biz expert, says, he's played with Nike since he was a kid. Switching brands ain't that easy. And you know what? That tracks. When you've been wearing one brand for years, your whole rhythm is built around the feel. Changing boots isn't just swapping shoes. It's muscle memory, comfort, confidence, all of it. So yeah, Haaland could have chased the biggest bag out there, but instead he played it smart. He picked what felt right, the stuff that helps him keep doing what he does best. Here's the thing, Nike doesn't just sell boots, they build legacies. That's what sets them apart. They've got this blueprint, right? You look at who they've worked with. It's not just athletes, it's icons. You've got Michael Jordan, CR7, Tiger Woods, LeBron, Mbappe. These aren't just faces on ads. These are full-on brands by themselves. And for Haaland, that probably mattered more than people think. He didn't just sign a deal for gear, he signed to build something. A brand, a story, a long-term setup that goes way beyond match days and press shoots. Like, think about it. He could have taken a deal, done a few years, made his money, moved on. This move with Nike feels bigger. Feels like he's trying to build what MJ built, what Ronaldo built, that Jordan effect. Not everyone gets that kind of opportunity either. You need the hype, the consistency, the image. And Haaland checks out all of it. So when Nike came knocking, offered that kind of long-term game plan, he didn't just see boots. He saw something he could grow into. And yeah, that probably sealed it. And football boots, they're not even the big money item. Yeah, it sounds wild considering how much brands are throwing at players like Haaland, but the boots themselves, they're not where the real cash is coming in. What it is about, though, is visibility. It's the eyeballs, the attention, the reach. When Haaland steps on the pitch in a pair of branded boots, that's millions of people watching. TV, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. That's one image, one clip, and it's spread instantly. You can't buy that kind of exposure. Or actually you can, and it costs brands a lot. And Haaland's not just some athlete. He's a walking franchise, a full-on marketing machine. So when he wears your product, it's not about just selling football gear. It's the ripple effect, the halo. Fans start checking the backpack, the trainers, the gym wear, maybe even some random stuff like water bottles or hoodies with the same logo. It all starts with the boots, but it doesn't end there. And that's why these brands are fighting so hard. Because with a guy like Haaland, the impact doesn't stop at his feet. It spreads across everything he touches. So yeah, it's not really about the boots. It's about what the boots unlock. So here's where things get interesting. For years, the football world was split clean down the middle. Adidas had Messi, Nike had Ronaldo. It was like a Cold War. Two brands, two goats, keeping the market in balance. But that era? Yeah, it's kind of done. Messi's winding down. Ronaldo's moved on, which means the brands are looking for the next wave, the new faces to carry the flag. And right now it's looking like Mbappe and Haaland are the guys. The thing is, Nike already has Mbappe locked in long term. That's one done, so when Haaland rejected Adidas and went back to Nike, that changed everything. It wasn't just him picking one logo over another. It shifted the whole power structure, because now, Nike doesn't just have a superstar, they have both. The two biggest rising names in the game under one roof. Adidas needed Haaland. Not just wanted him, needed him. To stay in the race. To have a face post-Messi. So when he said no, it wasn't just a loss. It was a momentum swing. And Nike are now holding most of the cards. So did Haaland make the right call? I mean, yeah, let's be real. Probably. Adidas is still top tier, no doubt. Still elite. But Nike's in a different lane when it comes to building athlete brands. They've got that system, that engine, whatever you want to call it, and it just works. And Haaland, he doesn't strike me as someone who wants to be just another face in the lineup. He wants to shape his story, be something bigger than just a player who scores goals. Nike gives him that stage. Plus, here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. He didn't lock himself into some crazy 10-year deal either. At least from what it looks like. That's smart. He's still young. His stock is only going up. Why tie yourself down when you can keep options open? Keep the leverage in your court. So yeah, Haaland didn't just reject Adidas. He made a power play. He flipped the script, made the brands chase him, controlled the whole narrative, and walked away with a deal that's not just about today. It's setting him up for something way bigger. Long-term moves, legacy stuff. This wasn't just about which boots feel good or who's offering the biggest number. It was about owning his image, shaping his own story, and doing it on his terms. So yeah, Haaland may have snubbed Adidas, but he's stepping into something way bigger with Nike, literally and metaphorically. What would you have done in his shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit like if this gave you a new perspective, and subscribe to Brand Stories where icons become empires.